what's going on, Jake?
Hey, Kurtster, what's up?
Oh, you got a last page here to letter. At least you're doing the layouts. I'm going to be hand lettering page 6 in the teaser, but it's actually page 5 in the story, and you're doing the last page. So,
Yeah,
and
so
this
welcome.
is the big chunky page.
Right, there's
This
a lot
page
on
is just
there.
no. So if I'm really quiet today, I'm sorry, but I'm working.
Yeah. So for folks who don't know what's going on here, we're two guys making a sci-fi comic called Turbo Pit Fighter, and we finished the pencils and inks and tones for the first 6 pages, and now we're laying in the dialogue. And the way we're choosing to do it is we're laying it out in a computer font, and then we're going to subsequently hand letter it. So you can see me laying out the computer font on the left and just getting all the dialogue and all of the sizes and everything fit right. And then on the right, you can see Kurt is hand lettering over the computer guide just so it doesn't look like a computerized font. And we're taking that little extra step to make it a little bit ever so slightly more handmade and less recognizable as being a computer font, because when I see a computer font, I I get distracted. Um, but I know that they're very popular nowadays in comics,
It's the
because
easy way out.
not everybody has a letterer, or you know
Or wants to
artists,
pay for one.
pencilers and inkers uh, feel it to be kind of drudge work, to do all the letters. Um, and it can be time consuming. So, um, I mean, this is definitely time consuming the way we're doing it, but I think it'll be worth it. We're making a separate Photoshop layer that's going to sit on top of our artwork, and we can play around with it. We can make it a little bit lighter, darker. We haven't spoken about whether the word balloons are going to be white. We did do a couple of areas where we're going to have knockout type, but this is the process, and you can hear us today as we're grappling with all these issues live. So right now I'm moving all these word boxes over to where they belong, and I have this guide that we worked out before. We are on, so this says whoa, and I just spelled it WHOA instead of WO. Um, yeah, so this is page 6, panel 1, and now we're looking for this page 6, panel 3, etc. So page 6.2 is going to be, I think, this one here. Maybe they're not numbered, unfortunately. But we can figure it out. Let's see. We have this box, and it looks like this. And this announcer thinks that. Is that supposed to fit in there, or is it supposed to be this one? And we are underway here. This one looks like it's more the right proportion. Actually. Well, let's zoom in and see which makes more sense. And we are underway here as the chieftain scores a mashing blow. And this announcer thinks that message has just hit home. Where does that one go? So I have a little extra here in my old notes, if that's helpful. I can look at this old notebook that I found if ever I'm confused. But we just did this last page where it said, "Ain't she something, gents?" Something tells me this next ballot is going to be a little extra violent. That's right, only 19 years young and oh so pretty. Can you imagine the fun tonight's victor is going to have with this vivacious little prize? Kind of give you the tingles, don't it, boys? So now we go to page 6, and sure enough, I don't have this marked here. And I don't really see a place where the announcer speaks twice. So one of these doesn't have a home.
Is it gonna not have a box and hover over the background, or?
I don't think. I don't know.
And you're right at panel 1,
Yeah, I
page
think.
6. Is that where you're at right now?
Yeah.
And that's that inset. That's that this here, or you're at the top right hand corner.
Yeah, I think this one might be a little extraneous. And this announcer thinks that message has just hit home. And the two gladiators square off once again. And we are underway here as the chieftain scores a mashing blow to the face of the tortoise. So I guess we planned this, but we didn't put any space for it. So I guess it's got to go. I'll put it here on the side. It's not totally necessary. And there's nowhere to put it in that panel unless we cover stuff up, right? So I'm just gonna make this one fit, and that'll be that. I suppose. And we are underway here as the chieftain scores a mashing blow to the face of Toro Czar. The chieftain is heavily favored here tonight and wastes no time in jumping right out and sending a message.
Yeah, so the background here is 20 years ago, we abandoned Turbo Pit Fighter to diverge out into the world in separate creative means to make a living, Jake and I. And where we're at right now is where we left off. So when Jake's making questions being heard, we're looking for the past 20 years ago to call in and give us the answer. So we're doing pretty good, though. I have to admit, for 20 years laying a project out and picking it up and using how old's that laptop and how old is Quark Express?
Yeah, more than 20 years.
Yeah, so, I mean, literally, you're working on it's a MacBook 2? What is that?
MacBook, yeah, white MacBook.
Or
people
is just
remember
it could be the original MacBook, which has no updates for iOS.
No updates for anything.
Or the Quark. So yeah, we're painstakingly going through this, relearning, and then that education will provide us with better and quicker means as we keep pushing along on making Turbo Pit Fighter the comic book.
Yeah, and what I'm doing right now is, as we've been doing for the last couple of episodes, I'm just kind of hand kerning now. I'm taking out rivers of white, as they're known, and trying to make a lot of text fit in a little space. Sometimes we're rewording these things, and sometimes we are horizontally scaling our letters. Whatever we have to do, to make this. We're actually adapting a font. We had this all measured out in this font right here. But after this was printed out, this font was lost to history. And so we're using this font. And, it's a little weird because this font does not seem very horizontally scaled. It does not seem very condensed. So I don't know. This is just how it's working out.
Well, if you're saying condensed, it does look flatter, like squatter. Hold it back up there again.
Yeah, it's definitely squatter. Yeah.
It's definitely so that's going to be messing around with the spacing, and of course the blocks are all pre-drawn in on my inked pages. So
Right.
we're doing some finagling here.
And it's not going to be that way with issue two. Issue two, we're just
Yeah.
sketching in the text. So we should have a better idea of what it'll look like in the end.
Well, we might even have a
But
different way of going about teaser number two.
how do you mean?
I don't know. We might just come up with a whole different way of going into this. So it might just
Yeah,
behoove us to go directly into Photoshop on my ink pages with the font and then just go from there.
yeah. Well, we will. We'll hopefully get better, not worse, um, with our process. So here I see this is a line where I'm going to try and I don't want to change any of the text, but I want to try and I can squeeze it all on there. So I'm going to do this. The chieftain is heavily favored tonight, and so where can I steal some space? Well, in between this A and this V, right? Because A's and V's always need to be tied to each other. To all you typographers out there that are making computer fonts and you're not spending the time to program your kerning pairs in, you know what I mean. Um, and let's see if I move down here. Here, there's a T and an A. Another thing is, I'm looking at this old font, and it looks like, if you look real closely, Kurt, it looks like
Mm.
the old font just kind of like there wasn't too much separation and on the letter spacing, so that might have bought you a lot of space. See how the letters literally run into each other,
Oh yeah.
you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really take away from the readability too much. Like sometimes here between the heavily favored, say these A's and V's, so they kind of made it too close, right? And I don't know if that's like a difference between the online versus the PostScript printout, but these are the super nerdy technical little questions. Anyway, I brought that line up so I can fit this thing together here, and the chieftain is heavily favored. It was also really important to me to make sure that we have some spacing around the letters between the surrounding box. And, um, you know, I think on the first page or two that we tried, we had a problem with that. So, even if it means just squeezing a little bit more out of these, the horizontal scaling, or squeezing a little bit more out of the lettering, like the kerning, right? Kerning means the space between letters. Um, I really, hope to just have a healthy amount of a gap around the letters in between that and the actual box. And some of this is just my OCD, but I'm into typography. What can I say? I was trained, you know, to be very, I guess, detail oriented, or maybe you want to say anal, but I remember I had typography class in junior college, and everybody in the class, we had to pick a letter, and we had to use old-fashioned drafting tools to make
Oh
a
boy.
an 8.5 by 11 letter, and I made an R. And I remember, like, I took home my homework one night. It was like on a piece of Bristol board. I had to make an R in like Helvetica out of regular a drafting tools. You had the flexible curve, and you had your straight lines and you had your curved lines, and that was a bitch. And then you had to you know use pen and ink, and white out and everything, just to get this perfectly formed R. And then the guy said, like, this is how you do it. Once you have these giant letters that are perfectly crafted, you photograph them and you shoot them down, and that's those get digitized into computers, and that's what your font is. But before computers, they would just be on these font books, right? Like the Dover font books. I don't know if you have any of those. And then they were programmed into all these kinds of machines. One was called a phototypositor, where you had a dial and you would make um, veloxes, or you would make photostats of um, copy, typeset copy. And you used to have to go to a place to get those made. They were called stat houses, or they were called output bureaus, and they would have these machines that would have all these fonts, and you just had to typeset the font, display fonts, using something that used film paper and photographic light, projected light through a dial, and then you would like press a button and you would get the copy, and then you would you know hit print, and then you give it to the copy boy or the copy guy, and they would cut and paste it up onto flats, right? And I know like a lot of people are scratching their head right now. What is this guy talking about? But that is the old way of um, making display font before we just had computers and hitting the print button.
Yeah, most people are saying, thank God we don't have to do that anymore. I dropped out of graphic design and illustration during my typography class to then become a painting major. So just that's my background when it comes to how much passion I have for typography.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's I don't know. It just
I have a huge amount of respect. Don't I? Am not disrespecting it or your OCD and passion for it, but I do not have the DNA to even give it an ounce of
yeah,
worry or concern.
yeah. I'm sure you
If it
represent
doesn't
your
look
passion.
right, then I'm going to do something else, and then if that works or is better than what didn't look right, I'm going to keep pushing forward. I just think the one thing about comics when you're hand making them the way we are, which is all pencil and paper, inks and pens, hand lettering, is that the readability, there's nothing slowing you down. In other words, if we scanned our pages in and then just put in computerized texting, it would just stop you in a visual mode. It would break your visual flow from the image to the text. So even as maybe poorly hand lettered we might end up being to other people's expectation, I think it's still going to be 10 times better than a a computerized font.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we got the workflow. This took us a while. If you look at some of our episodes from a couple of weeks ago, and we were kind of bumbling around. But like I see what you're doing now. It looks good, and you don't have to think, right? All you got to do is just copy what's there, and I'm doing all the last minute thinking here about syntax and phrasing and accents and all that. So now we're going to move on to this is the crucial first meeting between our protagonists here, um, and we kind of pained over this before about their exchange because uh, it didn't go well. Like it was contentious, um, and I don't know where else we're supposed to be getting these, but she's gonna say there, little honey, and I don't know if that's our final copy. Here she'll say, "What are you talking to me?" And here there's gonna be a myrrh, but I'm missing. Let's see. So this is 632. Sure I am, sweets. Where is it? And where do we find that? Sure I am, right here. Hell, if I known you were the prize. Um, so this is the stuff that we want. And I think we had to skinny this up. There was some issue where we had to skinny this up. But let's zoom out a little, see where we're at. So we're trying to bring this stuff from here to here. I'm going to make this a lot easier. Flip this middle page out here. Alright, and now this moves over. So this stuff will be here. Hell, if I know you was the prize. So this is going to have to be skinnied up. And that's 633. You compete with the chieftain? Ha! Sure I am, sweet. Hell, if I known you. Oh, so this goes down here, this goes over here. You compete with the chieftain, so this goes here. And then I'm not sure what she's saying up here. Oh, this is supposed to be really? So this is handwritten in here. Must have been lost in the shuffle. 641. She'll say really. So I'll just type that in here, and then we'll zoom in and see what we got. And then this is something like she's a little snotty. She don't realize what's gonna happen to her. She's a little snot, but she's too fine to go to waste like that. She don't realize what's gonna happen. So Turbo is like really her first impressions of each other are just she's just the physical she's physically attractive, and here she's gonna say if I talk to Whoppy, maybe I can make a deal against my prize money. And then here we have O. And I think the O was replaced by mer. Okay, so this is all going to be replaced. Alright, so all the dialogue is in place here. Now let's zoom in. Let's try to make this fit. Starting with say there, little honey. Just an inside thing, but I probably said this because I had a song called Little Honey back then in my demo days. It didn't end up being one of the songs on my band album, but it's a cool song, and so I probably used Little Honey for that reason. Are you having any problems taking the I-beam eyes and making them into the straight eyes in the middle of words?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's working out okay, because sometimes I skinny them up if I'm trying to buy some room. And now I'm going to take this text, make it 11.2 instead of 11.26. Hardly does anything. This balloon's a little crowded, so I'm going to center the top line. Then I'm going to move the two lines together, and how would you spell little? Would you make it Lil apostrophe or Li apostrophe L?
I think either is going to be fine. Do you really need the apostrophe though?
Yeah, I think traditionally you do. I'm gonna put the apostrophe after the L. No. Let me see if there's a consensus. Little apostrophe. Let's see if any English nerds talk about this. What is this short form of little? Is it little or lil? And this is on english.stackexchange.com/questions. Accept all cookies. You can find examples of each online. However, dictionaries like Lexico don't have entries for any of the forms. Ngram shows Lil beating out Lil since before 1900. All right. So what I'll do, as I usually do, you know what? Now that I look at it, I kind of like this. Even as I'm talking, I think I'm going to do it this way. Oops. And I want to just kick this over to the right. Oh, pushing there we go. Okay. So I'm good with that. Now, zoom out. Are you what? Are you talking to me? All right. What do we think about what? WOT. Is that distracting or silly or?
No, I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. We just got to
Because
keep it as a consistent behavior in her speaking.
her first line ever, what? Um, yeah, I like when comics have this kind of like phonetic language. What do you think? Like, they do it all the time when gangsters are talking, right?
Yeah.
But how about everybody else?
Well,
So,
that'll be the flavor of our book.
are you talking to me? And I'm gonna zoom way the hell in to see all this. Of course, I lose it. There we go. Because this font that I happen to pick is some kind of insane, weird behavior where it moves around every time you change the view. Here's a question for syntax super nerds. When you have an ellipsis followed by a question mark, does the question mark replace the last period, or do you have all three and then the question mark? That laugh. It's like you're like, are you talking to me?
Yeah, you can't. I know you're not talking to me.
What?
I have. Yeah, what?
Okay. I mean, I imagine that you have the full ellipsis followed by the question mark. But let's see what the English nerds say. When a sentence ends with an ellipsis, always use three dots. However, if you finish with a question, then use three dots followed by a question mark. Okay.
There you go.
Right. Is it two or three ellipses when using a question mark? Yeah, okay. There's no question about it. This is how it's done. And we just need to make sure that this is all fitting in and with nice airspace all around. I think this fits fine. No need to spend too much time. But of course, whenever I can buy a lot of space, I just put horizontal scaling back in. So there is method to the madness. She says, "What are you talking to me?" Sure I am, sweets. Okay. And here I gave her a southern drawl, I think. So what are we gonna do here? Well, I'm gonna take out the southern drawl. Oh, I had a great question about that. Um, I don't know if in all of our episodes have we ever discussed the geography of this story?
No.
Like,
I have actually
because
asked the question numerous times, especially when we were doing the Jack Kirby Commandy flip through the first 20 issues because they travel all over the universe. Excuse me, United States.
All right. First of all, I'm just running this all by you just to get another opinion. But sure I am sweets. I'm gonna just change that to sure am sweets. I just saw you here.
Sure am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
Well,
saw
we could
you.
even do an apostrophe, close the gap, and then have it immediately follow am.
An apostrophe like here?
Sure am. Sure am.
Sure am sweets. Oh, you mean a comma?
Sure am. Sorry, yeah, comma. No,
Okay.
not comma, apostrophe.
Sure am sweets. I just saw you here. And well, I can't believe how much of a damn shame it is to see you in this case like this. All right, we can work with this. Let's sure am sweets. Just so you, I'm taking out the I again. That buys us a lot of room. So yeah, when I was because I don't know where I was like I think I was oh, you know what I was doing? I was making a new account on Tribel, and this is like one of these like backup Twitter things in case like Twitter gets really crazy. People are gonna say, "Hey, follow me on Tribel." So I made a Tribel account because I just wanted to see it. It's actually it's actually kind of a cross between Twitter and Facebook and all the other things. It's like you put posts, but it isn't like any one of those other social media things. It kind of combines a little bit of features. So I'm like, all right, well, let me just have an account here, just to test it out. And I was making an account called Turbo Pit Fighter, and I just was putting like in the little bio screen. I just wanted to like put some information, post-apocalyptic love story. But does it take place on a future Earth? Or does it take place in a future America? Or does it take place in a future land
Australia.
that we're not describing? Like, is this specifically going to be because Commandy and Pro White Melody, they're all like, oh, this was New York, this is Brooklyn, this is post-apocalyptic wherever. But we haven't mentioned that, right? And the only places we've mentioned are like new names, right? So, do we want to make a determination about that? Are we in America?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
It's easier, because if you're not in America, then you have to deal with that culture's infrastructure, unless Turbo is a transplant from America. But still, the environment would be, it's linguistic, it's customs, it's culture, things about cities in reference to us actually having been in those cities and towns or
Right.
states and having some kind of contextual understanding for it to be able to apply.
Yeah. We could also do landmarks and stuff. I mean, the famous Statue of Liberty reference is become a cliche at this point. But um, I was thinking if we are doing this, basically your cities would be your first bombed out and toxic areas that are just
Well, you know
un.
that where I live is the first place the West Coast gets hit because there's a lot of chemical gasoline refineries, transit, national airport. There it's just where the Philadelphia is the hot spot.
Yeah,
Southern New
you got
Jersey,
the
Delaware, Maryland,
ports.
Washington D.C. is very 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 close too. So, yeah, I actually have been over the last 10 years. I've been wanting to do what would have appeared to be a sword and sorcery story, but it
Uh-huh.
would take place in northern Delaware.
Right.
So I would reveal the places that the characters are going in and out of as like swordsmen and magicians and monsters and stuff. around, then uh, the towns being like, because, Newcastle, you would think England first, right?
Yeah.
But then when I started talking about the Port of Delaware or Delaware City and, so on and so forth, then it gets like really like, what are you talking about? And then we have like a King of Prussia. We also have a
Okay.
Governor Prince. We have
Mm.
a lot of this really neat stuff. And then I had a private student. This was around the same time, 10 years ago. She had a great idea. I really hope she comes back to it if she even hears me saying it and everything. But she had a hidden, like a ghost exit off of 95 in Delaware. So her character ends up having car troubles and then gets off this exit and then is in the, and then she started designing her own Delaware town. It wasn't a town in Delaware, it was a Delaware town.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like supporting your question or how we're kind of moving along in the world building of Turbo Pit Fighter. I think it really does matter demographically where she is and then travels to and from and then moves along. But I mean, other than the ending of issue 1, where there is a mention of the neighborhood and the street, do
Yeah.
we have anything concretely? And I love that. So there you could really tickle, like for instance, what is it? The Simpsons live next to, or was supposed to be in Springville, and I think there's
Springfield.
like
Yeah.
Springfield, excuse me, and I think there's like, I don't know, 31 Springville in United States, but then they made allusions to uh, Maryland and Delaware, and so I love that kind of thing because it really forces thinking, and when somebody's actively thinking and trying to solve something as they're reading your story, they're getting pulled in and they're getting maybe even locked in.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, also, one thing to keep in mind is that there will be a prequel and a prequel to the prequel, right? The Elevena story 2222 is going to be a prequel. And I did make up some names of colleges and universities, like research universities, that weren't real. But yeah, so I guess it's unavoidable just to make this like a post-apocalyptic U.S. and we I mean it'll be helpful in some ways, but like I think like the cities are just going to be, we're just going to be dealing with, by the time Turbo starts in page 1, those are just going to be your outlying areas because I think the big cities are going to be already bombed, poisoned. Um, right? It makes sense
Yeah,
that
I
if
totally like rural anyways. I always
yeah,
lived a rural setting, so I don't
well,
need
yeah,
I don't
the
need I
houses, the
don't need
home,
references inside DC and Philadelphia and stuff like that. I would rather reference the peripheral and then have like a zone where it's
right?
like you
Because
can't go into Philadelphia proper now
yeah,
because you're
those will
up
be
in
your
Germantown.
surviving areas because they're remote, right? And they weren't hit in the initial slaughter. Um, what about what a Dan? All right, sure am, sweets. Just saw you here, and I can't believe what a damn shame it is seeing you in a case like this. Should I change that to cage, or is case good? She's basically in a
Cage.
plastic case, right?
Cage.
You like cage better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cage it is. And hit save every once in a while. Take away the border. Hell if I'd known the prize was you, I'd have took on that rat's ass chieftain myself. And I think the next response is where we really had to think twice about how we want to put this, right? If I'd have known, all right, how are we going to fit all this in? I think I need to horizontally scale here. I don't know if I'm just going to get there by kerning, but let's try. I can take the A out. Hell, if I'd known. Actually, Ida sounds better. Hell, if I'd known the prize was you, or you were the prize. Hell, if I'd have known the prize was you, I'd
Now you were the prize.
You were the prize. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're not fitting. I think I have to make it another line. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Well, I think if I start out here, yeah, this is probably my best bet. I mean, Turbo is right off the bat saying that she's attracted to her, right?
Of course.
And Trophy is used to that, and so she's just like, very rejecting.
She don't go that way.
Right. Oh, here's how we get there. Okay. We just gotta squeeze another line in. Here we go. Perfect. See? Hell, if I'd have known you were the prize, and we could expand you. I'd so here we're doing I'd
Yeah,
it's short for I woulda, right?
Yep.
I'd have took. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm doing like the hedge. I'm hedging instead of making I'd and two words. I'm just moving the a little closer together. So is it two words or one word, or is it something in between? I'm expanding you. I don't know if this is subliminal, but if we make, because we decide that we're gonna have bold words in the word balloons. You're gonna make them extra bold.
No, we don't have the space.
Okay. But we were, because I was trying to expand the ands, and he's doing this, and he's doing that.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Okay, what about rat's ass? Is it two words? Is it hyphenated? Is it one word?
Make it one word.
I don't know, it kind of looks interesting with a hyphen. but I'm there for this panel. All right, not too painful. I'm gonna leave it hyphenated. I just think it looks better. All right. Really? She says. And we can get a little more space down on this. Really? I wonder if this is what the box was really meant to say. The panel. I don't have any notes here, but really looks like it's swimming in this box, you know? So I guess we'll just leave it like that. You compete with the chieftain? Nary, I think not, besides the fact that I am positively repulsed by big filthy dykes. Okay, this is our moment of truth. I'm looking at my notes, and I don't think we didn't change it. I know we discussed it.
Yeah, I mean we are at an impasse. She is a truck driver, pit fighter, low education barrier.
Yeah, and it's I don't mind them being like, contentious with each other at first. What I here I have some notes here where we changed the balloons. Yeah, so this was all fixed. See, this is where the bolding comes in here. Excruciating haymakers, crippling agony, prize money, repulsed by. I mean, it's something we could do later.
Could make
But
another version, yeah. I mean, by the time we get to collecting all of the teasers into the first official issue, we could have another descriptive. But it holds its weight and a bit of truth towards her character. That's the only thing I'm going to weigh in as
no, the only
a
thing that's
vote to keep it in.
what you keep what in?
We're talking about Dykes.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wonder if it's too offensive in 2023.
Everything is too offensive in 2023. Everything will be more offensive in 2024. Everything will even be more offensive in 2025 until something comes along
I don't know.
and
I think it's
redistributes the the way that word is collectively identified. That's the challenge in society. I don't know if our comic book is actually trying to do that.
yeah.
It's just
I
trying
think
to
we
lean into the explicitness of using language. But I
yeah. I
have an
mean,
issue. I just have to say, I do have an issue in having a barbaric character have has identifiable speech. In other words, is identifying with what harms people's feelings, stuff like that. To me, it's just a complete contradiction. It's like, then why even bother going down that road? Because you're exploring the language. That's what you're trying to do. We're not trying to write a comic book to eliminate this kind of language. We're trying to use it as a larger format of conversation in a comic book. However larger that format is or gets, or is pulled into, what do you call it? The conversation.
I think we got. Yeah, no, I think we got to take it out. I mean, I just don't want to take any chances.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, exploitation movies in the '70s, they use a lot of offensive language that are cringy now to hear, right?
It was cringy back then.
Yeah, but back
Nobody.
then the cringiness was the point. And now
isn't that the same point now? If it's not the same point, then we can replace the word
no,
with what the point
society,
is.
yeah, society
No,
has
I'm saying
moved.
for the story, Jake, for the story. Like, is it necessary for her to be that degrading in her language? If it's not, let's just find a better appropriate word to help describe her as a character in using.
Right. Well,
I mean,
we
Trophy is very childlike. So, I mean, you could even argue the point that she wouldn't even identify with using the word because she might not have ever,
yeah, no,
I don't know,
even
come
if it
across the
was,
word. You know what I mean?
yeah, even if it was Hitler with Tourette's, just use it, like I don't want to use the thing, the character I invented is saying that, not me. I don't want to do that. I just want to use a word that just, doesn't, cause it to be, go on the defamation website or whatever. So,
There's a defamation website.
I'm sure there is, yeah, somewhere. Uh, I'm having problems fitting this in. You beat. Oh, how about take on the chief? Take on. I'm just looking for something shorter here. You take on the chieftain. Nary, I think not. Yeah, that looks like it'll fit more. But yeah, but what are we gonna say? You know,
You got
big
A.
filthy butches. I think that's just as bad, right?
I don't think it needs to be a sexually identifying word.
Right,
She's not. I mean, it can be literally like a brute. You could use the word brute or
right. Something
pig or
like
boar, or anything that describes her is what she
ogre.
really is. Yeah, ogre, beast, these types of things. I think back then we were trying to create a sexual edge to the
No,
comic.
this is where she establishes that she's not that she's straight. So we
Ah,
have
but
to.
I mean, but then you're also playing to the other side that everybody in their post-apocalyptic future is identifying as straight.
Uh,
just just make it identifiable to what
well,
she
she'd
is, and she's a
she'd
brute.
rather she'd rather take the chieftain. She'd rather be won and taken by the chieftain than Turbo is what she's saying.
Who's probably more manly than she is.
Yeah,
Not.
we can see he's a big ugly brute too. I
Exactly.
but I think
Exactly.
this was the point. I think the point was that she's already, she's already been. I mean, if she's 19, she's already been in the traffic around for years. I was also gonna say, like, maybe we should make her a little older, and I think we might have some dialogue down the line where Turbo thinks she really is 19, and then she
Oh
laughs and
yeah.
say, ha ha, I've been 19 for quite a few years already."
Yeah, yeah. We have touched on that in the past. I like that
Right.
a lot.
Yeah. But here, she's just kind of resigned, and she's defending the chieftain, right? Because she's a prize, and she does mention in the next panel that it's all rigged. Or I think it was, or maybe, oh, you know what? I think that was taken out. But for space, I had a thing that said it's all rigged anyway. I don't see it. I might, you know what? It might have been in that old notebook I found. Besides, it's all rigged anyway. Oh, I'd like to get that in. It's,
It's not on the next page when she's going down to the office.
let's know because it's her saying it. She knows the fix is in. Let me see where I got that from because I think that would be interesting to put in here. But we're really short on space. It's all rigged anyway. I didn't make it from the notes to the final dialogue. Look at this. I'm pulling out this paper is going from yellow to brown.
My gosh. Antique, they call it.
Look, see, this is my first run through. Hey, beautiful,
Those are
tap,
so
tap,
awesome.
tap. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and the reigning champion here at, what the fuck do you want, lady? Sorry, I shouldn't say it. What the F? I wrote F-U too. And then she goes, and then she says, I wished I would have known you were the trophy tonight. I would have taken the gig. Ha, please be real. You fight the samurai chieftain? Please. No, I mean it. I think you're really something. You want to go back with him? He's better than the Torazar. Give me a break, lady. This fight is rigged anyway. I'm going home with the chieftain. It's all worked out. I would never be with a sleazy dyke like you anyway. So, where do we go from there? So then, here, this was the second go around. And this was done sometime after the first go around. She goes, what? Are you talking to me? Sure, you sweets. I was thinking of how much of a damn shame it is to see you being dragged off by one of those toothless wonders. Hell, if I'd known you were the prize, I'd have took you on. I'd have gone in the main event. I'd have took on that good-for-nothing chieftain myself. Then she goes, ha, you defeat the chieftain, please. I nary doubt that. Besides, I'm not into big, filthy dykes. Sorry, ha ha. And then Turbo walks off saying, huh, she's just a little bitch. So I changed that to she's a little snot, but maybe just maybe, can I squeeze in that she knows it's all rigged? Maybe we don't need nary. I think not. Besides that it's raw, that it's all rigged. Already decided. I'm positively repulsed by big filthy dice. Ha. Decided. Okay. I can get the up here, and then bring this down. Okay, I got it to fit. So we just need to worry about dikes. I'm taking out dikes. I'm offended.
Yeah, put brute in. You big brute.
I could put in brutes. So well, this is what they call an impasse. I think I looked this up before. maybe we make up a word.
Yeah, but we don't have time right now. We're
No, we might have to leave
already
it.
we're already an hour in. So,
Yeah.
and this is the last page that needs your setup and lettering. I'm going to letter this week by our next episode and send you a copy of the preliminary to be reviewed before it's officially released. Turbo teaser number 1.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's at least finish the rest of the page. She's a little snot, but she's just too fine to go to waste like that. You don't realize what's going to happen to her once she gets dragged off by one of those toothless wonders. And that's all good. So I translate. You can see I translated a lot of what I had in there. I condensed it and all that good stuff. But there was in the 70s there was a movie. I think it was Fred Williamson movie, and it was called Boss N. And you know that movie, it's like can't even be screened anymore, right? I don't think, unless it's at like an African American museum or something, where they're studying you know the change in language. But there's also a great argument that says whitewashing history doesn't doesn't fix anything. People need to know the true reality. But what about the future? You know, she's just too fine to go to waste. Go to permanent to waste like that. Maybe there'll be a derogatory word for pit fighter.
I think so, yeah. Maybe even something along the lines of a masculine and a feminine. Like I had brought up that there were female gladiators called gladiatrixes or
Right,
gladiatrices,
right,
and so, but they were never thought of it. Well, I don't know. I haven't dug that much into it because the masculine gladiators, they were the superstars. They were the football players and the rock stars. Because the aristocracy was paying, especially women were paying to have time with them, and then like their sweat afterwards was scraped off of them and bottled and sold.
right.
So there's a whole cottage industry that is following and will be exploring the pit fighter, camp to camp, arena to arena, fighting thing. So yeah, it'll come down, but we don't have to get into it right now.
No, we just have to lay out these word balloons right now. I mean, we knew
Yes, please.
we knew this moment was gonna come.
Yes, please. I would like to finish this, please.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. But what happened here? She don't realize what's gonna happen to her once she gets dragged off by one one of them. Toothless wonders. Alright, let's see how we make this fit. She don't realize. It's gotta go line by line. She don't realize what. What has an apostrophe, right? What is. Got an A and a T here. That kind of fits. A little more space here. I'm going to keep this over to the right. It's gonna happen. So the 2 is going to go here. Let's shoot this. Yeah. Hello, what's up? Alright. This one I have to kick it down. I don't like that. So that means I have to scale that in. What's another term we could use instead of toothless wonders? Scumbums. See, this is where we need some last minute script revision, right? And it's hard to keep this over. So yeah, this box is a little tight. I'm going to say let's reshape the box.
Yeah, I can. I've been doing it. I just worked on page 5 or whatever the page before this is numbered, and I did that 5 times on that page because we have so much text, and it's a lot of tweaking at this point. Because that, I'm telling you right now, the spacing between the lines is 0 no-go. That's way too tight.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It's
way too tight.
Very different from all the others.
Yeah.
So
you notice just above, yeah. I mean, you got to go at least 3 times the size of what you got there.
Yeah. Yeah. Why does the text seem so big compared to the art all of a sudden? I wonder if this is the right. Maybe we need a smaller text size, but we don't want to redo everything.
Well, let's just push these last 2 balloons. We'll get the copy, printed, and then we'll do a fine tooth comb. But
yeah,
we gotta kind of go with what we got at this point, because revision after revision is, is just time consuming for what kind of resolve. That's all.
Yeah, if
I
we
don't
change.
live towards perfection. I don't even believe in the word.
No,
I
I know,
just
but
believe in the idea.
right, but we're still gonna make future pages too. So that's why it
Oh
matters.
yeah. I really don't think we should be doing this anymore. I think we need to just go directly to Photoshop.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
because you're dealing with a different font and a pre-existing font setup, things are wackadoodling itself, and obviously causing too much frustration in
yeah.
order for us to get this
Well,
completed. Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
yeah. So I'm not gonna worry about this balloon at all. I'm just gonna put the
No,
text
just
box
leave it
in
as is. Just leave it as is.
to make it
I'll
match.
reshape it.
Yeah, to
I
make
could
it,
totally reshape it.
and you could also
Give
make
me
it.
the challenge.
Yeah, you
Give
could
me the
also
challenge.
yeah you could also make it hang over the edge here too. So you could buy
Yeah.
a lot of space by
Yeah.
that as long
I
as it
think
doesn't.
I'm even going to, what I'm going to probably even do is just create a whole new balloon shape that I'll then, make on the outside on paper, scan it in, then cut it out and then place it down. And then obviously whatever my, the handwritten text will be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me deal with it. You've taken it as far as you can with what you got. Let's get that last balloon done, Jake, and try to get this done under an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay. If I talk to Whoppy, so this is the first time we mention Whoppy, right?
who is dead?
He's dead, but this is our last chance to change his name if we want to. I
Oh
was
no,
just
I
kind.
like it.
Oh, you
I
like
like
Whoppy?
Whoppy.
Okay.
I like Whoppy. You
Um,
must be friends with Whoppy. Did
um,
Whoppy send you?
right. We just don't want
That
to.
dirtball cheap Whoppy.
Right. So now this. Right. So we're having the other problem here, where this looks too sparse. The word in the word balloon.
You mean we actually have too much space in a balloon for words?
Yeah. Look at that.
The last balloon we come to.
Yeah. Now why is
That's
that?
fine. Leave it. Just leave it.
Well, we could just add a
You
couple
gonna
more
double check?
words.
No, let's have some space. Let's see what it looks like in the scheme of things.
Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
It just dawned on me. This was supposed to be here, and this was supposed to be here. That's the problem.
Oh. Oh.
That's why.
Bingo.
See? It all
Hey.
made sense in the end.
It's
I
still
just.
not a big enough balloon, though.
Oh no, I'll make this fit. I mean, it'll be. It'll make it. It'll make it a lot easier. Uh, maybe I can make a deal for her. I don't know why this is against. I'm just gonna make it against my prize money. And I'm not gonna say money. I'm gonna say
Prize. Just prize.
my take, my haul, my bounty, my.
Prize.
She's supposed to be getting radioactive peat.
That's the prize.
Right. Just prize.
Yeah. Payout.
Right. My prize amount, payout. If I talk to what?
My prize payout.
Purse.
Purse. There you go. I like that. A female pit fighter with a purse.
Right. My radioactive purse. If I talk to what? maybe I can make the deal. Okay, I'm just going to tighten up here. This 4 is going to jump down.
Why don't we just do against instead of
you like
against? Against.
Yeah.
Against my purse.
I don't know, that was kind of random, I thought.
That fits. I can just expand the balloon a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Are we there?
Save it. Save it.
Okay, let me come down here. Now, now it'll all fit. How did we change this? She's. Yeah, no, this is how it was. So let's just expand, 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 expand. This one can't expand too much. This one's a little better here. And I think the whole thing needs to stretch out a little. Absorb here, here, a little bit here, and we're done. All right. I think we're there.
Yay!
Except for the one word.
Yay! Brutes.
No, that's too male. What's a female pejorative? Harpies.
Oh, jeez. Pig.
Yeah, no, that's not. We can't say what we want to say because it's just not kosher anymore. Daggers. How about butches?
That's cool.
Sappho.
Now, go with butches. You just need a pedestrian word. You don't need anything to
Is there
amp
something
up
that
the
rolls
intellectual
better?
pursuit.
Is there something that rolls better than with filthy then? Big, burly butches. Big, brawny, big.
Well, big is a very pedestrian word. It's a very lame word.
You think big
I just
is?
think you just go with filthy. I just think go with filthy butches
I would say big.
by a filthy
Yeah,
butch.
big is always like a like
I'm fine. I'm
even if they're
fine with
not
it.
big, it's always in there.
That's fine. All right, we got to close this down. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna export this. Enough's enough.
Yeah, you guys send me. You guys send me the last page because it has additional text on it, and then I have to add to
Yeah, that one we already
this or the
converted.
one before. Yeah, it's this one. I think isn't it this one? Page 4 or whatever, or page 5 on your thing.
All right. So if you've come this far, boy, I feel bad for you. No, we appreciate anybody that's like looking in on this process. It's painstakingly
Well,
slow,
I'll say this. I'm going to say
grueling.
this out loud. If you're one of the few that are making it this far in our videos, we refer to you as a turbo knot. When we actually have this teaser, we're going to figure out a way to get this teaser in your hands. So thank you, and that's going to be really something that we're going to authentically thank Turbo Knots with. We just got to get this thing completed, sit down, and talk about how we're going to promote it and get it out there in the hands of individuals that are really in need of it because they've been following us, but also other people that we'll have a conversation with. So that's all I want to say in this episode about that.
Yeah. So here we have the wrong font, so I have to fix this and do it again. We don't want bold, we want regular. And then do that. Right? And then also, since we're here, is this and is also wrong. All right, man.
All right,
So
cool.
that's everything.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next episode, Kurt.